There we go. So I'm going to go over a couple of our resources that we have at the WCWB and then share some external partner resources as well before we get started. Among one of our many amazing resources that we have to offer entrepreneurs at the WCWB is our BEST program, Business Enterprise Startup Training. Our last live cohort just started on June 1st. So we're really excited about that. We're going to transition over to a hybrid model on our new website after this cohort concludes, but it is an 8-week course with one webinar per week. It's on Tuesdays from 10 to 11:30 a.m. This one is live led, and you will receive access to a business plan web application called Live Plan. It makes the business plan writing process a little bit less stressful, and there will be study halls and opportunities for you to get all of your questions answered. You're supported from the beginning to the end, where you're creating your mission statement, researching your target market audience, and creating financial projections. So step-by-step support throughout that program. If you have any questions about payment or scholarships or when our next course will begin, you can always reach out to us. We'll provide contact information for you at the end of the webinar. The WCWB also offers no-cost business coaching. Right now, we're on the phone or over Zoom. Eventually, when we get back to the office, though, we'll offer in-person coaching sessions again. Topics for coaching can include startup assistance, business plan writing, marketing, operations. We have an amazing CPA coach who will help you out with all of those financial projections, P&Ls, can help you out with taxes, anything finance or accounting related. The WCWB is located in the Thurston EDC and CBNI, which is in the SPSCC Lacey campus. And at the Thurston EDC, we have a number of partner organizations that we work with that assist entrepreneurs and business owners at various stages and aspects of business. The SBDC Small Business Development Center provides free business counseling to organizations, and they're typically working with organizations that have already started or in earlier stages of business development. And then over at PTAC, the Washington Procurement Technical Assistance Center, they actually can help organizations contract with city, state, and federal government. So if you have a product or a service that you think that can be sold to a government entity, PTAC can go ahead and help you find and pursue those contracts. We also offer a SCORE mentorship program. If you're looking for mentorship, this is another free resource. It's typically provided by retired business individuals that are volunteering to assist entrepreneurs. And then at the EDC, we also have our own version of Shark Tank, which if you've ever seen Shark Tank before, it's the very similar concept. It's called Think. It's a group of 40 local investors that are interested in investing in local Washington businesses. So you would go in, you would pitch your idea to the investors. In return, they ask difficult questions. They're typically looking for businesses that have high growth potential. And then located over at the St. Martin's campus here in Lacey is the Lacey Makerspace. It's kind of like an inventor's workshop. You can go in, create prototypes. You can also just go in to get creative and have access to tools that you might not otherwise have access to. They do workshops. They have daily drop-ins, and then you can check out their website for other types of memberships. If you're interested in pursuing more of our services, you can check out our website. You can look at the calendar to see when our upcoming programs and trainings are. You can give us a call or email us over at info@wcwb.org. If you're interested in scheduling coaching, that's where you would email us. And then without further ado, I would like to just pass it off to Christy. So I'm going to stop sharing and hand it over.
Thank you. I think I want to move to Washington.
Do you?
Yeah, I want those kinds of resources. Are you kidding?
Yeah, we actually have a lot of resources in Washington for small businesses.
That's huge. Oh my gosh, I would love to be a part of that. So hi everybody, I'm Christy Lawler. I am the founder and owner of CJO Consulting. We are a niche marketing and branding agency. So our primary set of clients are national restaurant, golf course, hotel, movie theater chains. And we produce beverage training programs. So if you're in one of our client accounts and you look at their menu, that's what we do. And we train their staff against their menu and that kind of thing. So we do a lot with marketing. We do a lot with branding. We do a lot with cultural development and brand strategy for our clients. And I'm so grateful to Robin for asking me to join this program to share ideas with all of you. And I'm really looking forward to the Q&A part because this is a very short presentation that I prepared. I just want to focus more on what I can give you rather than what I can tell you. So diving right in, this is kind of an overview of what this is all about. But I've been in marketing or hospitality for nearly 30 years. So followed a lot of trends and seen a lot of things. And I've also worked for large global organizations as an employee. So my insights come from being a leader and a company owner and a boss to being an employee. So when I think about how I treat people on my team or people that I work with, I always kind of circle it back to how I wanted to be treated as an employee or a team member. So that's what we're going to dive into. So starting with the tactics, this is how to build your marketing strategy using really common sense approaches, just asking yourself a lot of questions. So when I the right vendors, that means what are the things that you're going to keep and do yourself? What are the things that you are going to keep within your company and assign to a team member? What are the things that you are going to outsource to an expert vendor? So using my company as an example, we're a marketing company. I hate social media. I hate doing all of the things on social media. I have a social media company that I outsource everything to because it keeps me focused on running the business and not promoting the business. I would rather outsource to an expert in that area so that I don't have to worry about it. Now, it sounds kind of crazy for a marketing company to outsource their own social media, but for us, it just makes sense. And that kind of leads me into what I mean by investing in the right areas. This is how you put your dollars to work best for you. No one really, if you're an entrepreneur, you don't start with infinite resources, right? You have a set budget for building your company and you have to stay in touch with that. And a lot of us as startups, we often don't pay ourselves a salary because we're spending all of the revenue that we're bringing in on building the company. So this is, down to where you get your business cards and how you choose different things. Pay attention to what you're actually spending the money on. And I have friends that want to be entrepreneurs because they think, oh, you don't have a boss and you just pay yourself whatever you want. But that's not accurate. I've never made less money in my career than I do as an entrepreneur. And that is an intentional short pay of my talents. I would rather invest in my company than in my own pocket. What my company does is very unique, but my company operates a full brand line. I'm wearing my shirt. How do you jab? And we also have a 501 foundation. So I choose to invest my company's resources in building our product line and also promoting our nonprofit foundation and financially supporting that. So implementing your methods to match your goals. I mean, really just, this doesn't have to be a 5-year plan. I personally don't have one. It's probably not a good thing to admit, but figuring out what your real goals are, whether it's a SMART goal system or whatever it is for you, make sure that it matches how you identify your personal goals and how you identify your business goals. And then really paying attention to the ways you go about reaching those. And a lot of it is just smart investing. And outsourcing for maximum gain, that goes back to sourcing the right vendors. Whatever you're not strong at is what you need to outsource. There are plenty of resources, and there's more and more every single day for getting what you need done. There's agencies like mine that handle marketing in a very specific area. And there's agencies like the one I'm using for my social media. Choosing where you're not investing your time is just as critical as choosing where you're investing your funding. And the financial power of a strong budget. I didn't realize how impactful a strong budget was until COVID practically decimated us last year. It was really hard. It hurt all of my clients. And because I hadn't been paying myself a normal salary, I chose to not charge my clients for the work that we were doing for them for about 6 months of last year, because I didn't feel personally comfortable with taking money and building revenue streams in our company when my clients were going through furloughs. Some of them were laid off. Everybody was stressed. I felt like it didn't match the ethos of my brand to charge when I was working a couple hours a month on a client project or something. It didn't make sense to me. And any business coach would tell you that's probably the worst decision a business owner can make, but it was a personal decision for me. And the fact that I had budgeted and saved so much and kept so much revenue in my company's bank kept us afloat. That is what saved us. So I cannot stress this enough. Be very responsible when it comes to your fiscal management. If you are not taking on investors or taking on loans, just use your money as wisely as possible, because that rainy day comes. And last year we had 365 rainy days, right? So that is that. Does anybody have any questions so far before I move on to the next segment? I should look at the chat too. Oh, I can't see the chat. Fine. Awesome. All right. Come on, let's go.
Nothing in the chat right now.
Oh, okay, great. Will you let me know, because I can't see the chat on
Yeah,
my
absolutely.
focus. All right, the method. This gets into your actual marketing power. So when I say the method, this is everything that takes you from your idea to your consumer facing messaging. And when I say the art of storytelling, this is how you're inputting your personal self into your company, your business, or your brand. Everything I do is tied to my personal ethos. So my company ethos matches my personal one. Even my product line donates back to my nonprofit foundation. Everything ties back in to my personal message. And everything about your business is about you. It is an extension of you. It is your child. I use this example a lot. Starting a business is like having a baby. The wheels come off the train in every direction. You panic, you freak out, and then eventually it starts to grow up and it starts to repay all of your energy and efforts. And you start to sleep at night and not cry all the time and not pull your hair out. And you start to manage the challenges that come with being a business owner as well, because you gain experience. So just like being a new parent, you stop panicking over every bump and bruise because you know they're just going to survive it. Same with owning a business. You eventually reach the point where you stop panicking at every hurdle because you realize, I've done this before, I've survived this before, and it taught me how to survive it again. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense to everybody, because it's, what I think. And then the power of branding. So this isn't just the aesthetics, right? The color schemes or the graphics or your logo. This is every way you communicate your brand. So whether it's social media, whether it's flyers, whether it's email messaging, whatever you're using to communicate, make sure that you're always staying true to your brand and you're always using proper grammar. And that sounds like a no-brainer, right? Um, it's not. And even though I'm a copywriter by trade, I often catch an email that I send out that has a spelling error or a messaging error, grammatical or syntax error. I'm like, oh God, Christy, you did it again. I do it a lot. Um, but when you're sending out any kind of message through any channel, you can't pull it back. So make sure before you hit send in any format that it's correct, it's accurate, it speaks your voice, not someone else's. Um, and along those same lines, eliminating the messages that don't resonate. This isn't just putting something out there to put it, because if you put something out there and it doesn't match your brand or your message that's at the core of your concept, you're going to lose all sorts of traction. You're going to lose some credibility. And that just costs money, and it's wasted time, which also costs money, of course, as we know. Because is anybody on one of those mailing lists where you're like, I'm so tired of just hearing how you're growing, what you're doing, what's new? I don't care. You're crowding my inbox. I don't need this. Delivering messages that actually make an impact and make a difference is the best way to always use any kind of email or social media outlet. And it's more so for the email, because nobody likes to be spammed. Nobody likes to constantly be deleting and removing themselves off lists and unsubscribing. So don't be that person. Personally, as a company, we do not send out a lot of messaging in terms of emails. If we're sending out something new, it's going on LinkedIn. It's short, it's sweet, it's to the point. I don't see the point in always sending out email messaging, because I don't want to be the offender that I don't like. And I don't know if I trust myself enough to be concise in an email, whereas obviously in social media, I can be much more concise. And then sourcing the right way to deliver your message. And this is just whether it's, if you're a product line, TikTok and Instagram, if you're a storyteller, Facebook, if you're looking for B2B instead of B2C, you're going to be on LinkedIn. If you are just sending out messages, you're going to be tweeting. And if you're sending out emails, choosing how and when to send those emails is going to be critical. And you're going to want to do that in the right way so that your message does not get lost, because there's a lot of noise. And what you don't want for your company is to add to that noise. Any questions? And there's plenty of time for questions at the end. I just don't want to go too fast. And then the culture. So this is a critical component of running any kind of business. The second you get to the point where you have more than one person helping you grow your company is when the culture needs to really already be solid. You don't want to create your culture after you've hired 5 people. You want to create your culture day one when you create your concept. So that starts by really recognizing what your messaging is. And once you start growing a team, really letting them kind of help you grow your company. There's a famous quote that Steve Jobs said that, we don't hire the smartest people to tell them what to do. We hire the smartest people so they can tell us what to do. Truer words have never been spoken. That is so simple, so straightforward, and so accurate. You really want to allow the members of your team that are helping you grow your business shine in their best ways. So asking them to tell you what they want to learn, how they want to grow, develop, what they see for the future of your business. These are important things. And it really creates the core of your culture. And then maximizing your organizational efforts. This is putting the right bodies in the right roles with the right responsibilities. I am very good at some things and I am very not good at other things. And when I'm maximizing organizational efforts, I know exactly what I need to be handing off and delegating, even though that's very hard for me, admittedly. Not a good delegator. I'm very much a type A. But I'm like, what are you good at? What do you like to do? What do you want to learn? And then they get assigned projects, tasks, and deliverables in line with their answer. And that way it's never just about me. It's never me just, you need to do this, you need to do. I don't operate that way. And I certainly don't like being treated that way. Because you never know what hidden skills are in there until you're asking the questions and you're giving them the freedom of speaking. And then the value of autonomy also comes into that. Letting, and this is the hard part for me, full disclosure, letting go. I struggle with this every day, every minute of every day. I struggle with it with my kids, my husband. I struggle with it in every aspect of my life, is letting go. And what do I love the most when I'm an employee? Being autonomous, having people let go and give it over to me. So I get the irony, y'all. I get it. But really just letting people do them, giving them the freedom to make mistakes on your dime, because that's what you're doing. You're paying them to make mistakes and learn. But if you ask yourself how many times you've learned something from an immediate success, or it worked right the first time, it was brilliant, it was so easy. Did you actually learn something from that? Or did you learn more when you made a colossal error, fell on your face, and had to get back up on your own and learn and move forward? That is the value of autonomy. And that's, I put that in there because it's something that I need to constantly remind myself of. But yeah, you'll see the value. Try it. It's hard. It's worth it. And then active listening to make an impact. And this is paying attention to what matters to the people on your team, so that you are bringing their personal goals into the goals of the company. Because you can have a revolving door. You can hire 15 people and one of them stays for 10 years or whatever and helps you grow the company. Or you can hire one person and partner with them, or two people and partner. It doesn't matter. Pay attention to what they need out of the agreement of working with you, not for you, with you. And that makes a big, big difference. So that is my take on culture. And I know it's very short and sweet, but what I didn't want to do is sit here and talk about bullet points on a really basic deck and not hear from everyone else on the call who's given their time to this process, so that I can really add something of value. So this is my last slide. I'm thanking you again. And this is how to reach us. So you can I'm always happy to help. I'm always happy to answer questions, especially to other female entrepreneurs. I know how hard it is. And I know how much you're not sleeping. So that's my show. So I will stop sharing my screen now, and I can put this in the chat too if anybody wants my information. But now, if there are any questions or topics of conversation, I'd like to see what I can do to add value to your day.
Hi, Christy. Oh,
Hi.
hi. This is Marita, and great sharing, to the point and so personal. I noticed that at the bottom of your slide, you have marketing, support, and transparency.
Mm-hmm.
And could you talk a little bit about those three bullets? And is that your tagline for your company?
Yes, pretty much. Since we are a marketing agency, and because of the space that we operate in, with our clients being national hospitality chains, there is the marketing piece, there's the support piece, and then there's the transparency piece. And I've been in this side of the business for almost 20 years. And when I started my company, I was really thinking about how do I create a point of differentiation for what I do versus what everybody else in my space does, because there are quite a few companies that do what we do for our industry. And the thing I kept coming back to was, how do I be a better supporter of my clients? Not just a cog in the wheel, but a member of their team, a member of the family, really integrating into their company, each company individually, so that I am just an extension of their brand. So that's really diving deep. I get really deep into the nitty gritty details of their branding and who they are and how they identify as an organization in order to create programming for them. And then the transparency piece is, you know, I have Parade under this full disclosure, like you get what you get. And, you know, there's no smoke and mirrors. There's no fancy, there's nothing. It's just, this is what it is. And I've had clients that don't love my honesty. And then I'm like, I get it. You didn't want to hear that. You didn't want that to be the answer. But let me just ask you, what's in it for me to disappoint you right now? Like, where's my gain? I have absolutely nothing to gain by disappointing you. So I'm very sorry you don't like the answer, but this is the honest truth. So I'm just going to give it to you. And then also I get complete access to their files that we keep as a company, that they can log into at any time and see communications, see statuses, see budgeting and funding. They have a complete transparency. So that's what I mean by those 3 items. So yeah, it's kind of our brand identity.
Thank you. Just a quick follow-up. I think that what I hear you saying is that you don't just give people a deck, you help them implement, and that's what they like, and not just walk away, and helping them through to see the results. And so they're not just left with a deck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Decks are pointless, right?
Absolutely.
When it all comes down to it, it's just messaging. But unless you're going to actually act on it and prove it, it's just pretty words on paper.
Right. And yeah, and you help me do something, right? Not just tell me. Yeah. So thank you very much. It's no wonder you are successful. Great.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Anyone else?
Well, Christy, I don't really have a question, but I really appreciate transparency and honesty. So yeah, I think it's really important that people need to hear what they need to hear, not what they want to hear necessarily.
Yeah, my mouth has gotten me into the trouble in the past for the level of transparency and candor. But honestly, no one ever doubts if what I'm saying is going to be true.
Yeah. So there's a number of people on my team that are actually from the East Coast, New York specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely love them because it's all upfront, it's all transparent, and I know exactly where they stand.
Yeah.
It sure makes doing business a whole lot simpler, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. It really does. It makes a difference. And it's part of, you know, my reputation. When people have never heard of us and they get a referral for us, and they come to me and they're like, hey, I heard about you from so-and-so. They said you're absolutely like the most honest person out there. And that's really what we need. We want a partner that's going to be honest with us.
Yep.
To tell us when we're trying to do something that doesn't make sense, or really help guide. And that's what I love doing, because that's a huge emotional ROI for me. And
Yeah.
you know, clearly I'm not doing this to become a bazillionaire. I'm doing this because I love it and I'm passionate about making a difference.
Nice. Well, thank you for being here.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
We do have a question in the chat. So do you have any thoughts about the Apple iOS update, ad tracking, and Facebook, and how small businesses who are affected can still grow?
That's a fantastic question and quite a doozy. I don't. But that's interesting. So I know that they're doing that, but I don't pay attention to any of that, because that's all my social media stuff. But can you dive into that a little bit more, Ashley, and just kind of explain a little bit more about your question?
Hey, yeah. So I sell a product. I sell light fixtures, and I hired a marketing company in January, and we started off the gates really well. We advertise on Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, where we target, most of my client base is. So come at the end of April, when the Apple update happened, most of my clients are Apple users, and they primarily use phones for purchasing too. So we have seen quite a big difference since the update. So we're just trying to figure out like some workarounds now that you can't target people because of the iOS update.
Wow. So have you seen like a decline in revenue?
Yes, we have. I think partially some of that is coming out of COVID, with people deciding to travel and deciding to go to brick and mortar stores more than, purchase e-commerce or renovate their homes at this time. So I think some of that's normal and cyclical for this time of year. But I think some of it definitely can be attributed to the update. So I just wanted to see if you had any experience with that.
I don't, but can I ask more questions?
Sure.
Are you mostly B2C, or are you B2B, or are you a mix of both?
So it's a mix of both. We work a lot with interior designers. So I would say about 60-40, like with B2B and then B2C.
Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting. I hadn't heard about that because I'm not really paying attention to it. And full disclosure,
Yeah.
really delayed on updating my commerce store on Facebook.
Right.
We sell my product line. We sell through our website. We sell through the W Marketplace, Kate Eisler and Susan Gates organization. And I have a brick and mortar retail space.
Okay.
That is a co-op, right? So I'm literally renting a spot in a massive store for small business owners and products, that kind of thing. So we're in a very different mix, and it's only because I have not dedicated the time to building out my Facebook store, because I really just don't care.
Well, so my stores, it's not on Facebook. We have a regular website, but we target our clientele is primarily purchasing goods for their home on Instagram and Pinterest, and hence like Facebook and Instagram being the same company. So
yeah. And you're using it to drive the traffic back to your
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So are you seeing that like there's just your traction is just way down?
Yeah, it has been pretty significant from the first quarter of the year. So I just, have been trying to take polls from other small businesses that it's different if you're not selling a product online. So I thought maybe someone would have some ideas.
Well, you know what? I would love to, if you want to email me and let's get in touch, I can pose this question to my social media people too.
Okay.
If they have insights that would help you, because I'm the first person to admit when I don't have an answer, and I don't.
That'd be great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Anybody else? Don't be shy. I guess that's it. All right. If we don't have any questions, Robin, I'm going to go ahead and put my contact information in the chat just to make life easy for everybody.
Okay, great. I was going to suggest that. That'd be wonderful.
Oh, your puppy is losing his mind.
Yeah, I think he hears something at the door. Perfect timing. Okay, everyone. So Christy just put her email in the chat. So make sure that you copy and paste that and utilize that. If you have any questions, you can reach out to her. Again, this was recorded, so we'll have it posted on our website as well. And I send it to everyone that registered for the webinar. Is there any other questions? Okay, well, we're going to wrap up. Thanks again for coming. Thank you, Christy. That was great. Again, yeah, thanks for your candor. It's definitely appreciated here. And Holly says, thank you, Christy. This was great. Yeah, Stella says, thank you. All right. Thanks so much. I hope everyone has a wonderful afternoon. Do you have any last minute thoughts?
I appreciate you having me, and I hope that I've provided a benefit for you guys' investment of your time. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Robin.
Thanks. Have a good afternoon.
Bye, everybody.